namo namah. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so may I request Prabhuji or Mataji to please share the shloka for today. I'm trying continuously. If my laptop part comes up, I can do it. 17.7 onwards, you have to start.
Yes, Prabhuji. I'll just try, Prabhuji. Or if anybody is ready, they can do it. 1 second. No, I'm just doing. If anybody is okay, can do the screen sharing, they can also try within the time. I'll also try, Prabhuji. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Please, sorry for my side because I don't know why other screens are okay, but browser where I run this, that is not. It's giving some problem.
Also doing, Prabhu. 1 second.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, within the time, if anybody has the book, they can read. No, Prabhu. I'm just logging in.
Yes, that is also fine. It will save some time. I think I'm almost done, Mataji. Should be in next 1 minute. Hopefully, it will be up. I'm there now.
Prabhuji, you said something, Prabhu. I couldn't hear, Prabhu.
Yeah, I'm able to access my browser and everything is. I will be there, Mataji. Next 20 seconds.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Prabhuji, are you able to do? Shall I give you co-host, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, no, it's fine. Yes.
Yeah. Done, Prabhuji.
Okay. Is my screen visible correctly, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, I welcome you all, and again, seek your forgiveness for all this delay. So, actually, I heard in Sunday evening we had a session about japa. So, there it was told that in this material world we are given these problems one after the another. to make us realize that we do not have much things in our hand, so that we should be very clear that we are very, very insignificant, and that mood is required, because unless we approach the holy name with the mood of being subservient, and without having without any capability, until then we feel I am also important. Yes, holy name is also very important. And now I'm doing it. So that mood of begging the mercy will not be intense. So I take it as this as a blessing only, that our I mean, I was very confident within 2-3 minutes I will be able to log in and everything will be fine. But everything else was working better, except that browser window where the Zoom session has to be open. So without taking more time, we'll start. This is the 17th chapter. Okay, the divisions of faith. Okay, and we are going to read a lot about the 3 modes of nature, which is 14th chapter. Whole chapter was based on the 3 modes of material nature, right? But Krishna is so merciful that like a true father, he is guiding us, that after telling a lot, a full chapter of 3 modes, now Krishna is going to tell us more and more examples, like different actions, whether it is charity, sacrifices, food, right, or charity. So these things, we are always in one of these things. Okay, so why it is important that our actions, the food that we are eating specifically, in which mode that food belongs to, and until we know which mode we are part of, we will not be able to elevate ourselves. So these are the very, very practical examples that Krishna has described in these shlokas. Okay, so 17.7, we will start with that. Aharatva api sarvasya trividho bhavati priyah yagnas tapas tatha danam tesham vedam imam shrunu. I request Prabhuji or Mataji to please read the translation and the purport.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Shall I read translation?
Yes, both translation and purport.
Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Even the food, each person prefers these 3 kinds, according to the 3 modes of material nature. The same is true of sacrifices, austerities, and charity. Now here are the distinctions between them. Purport by Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. In terms of different situations in the modes of material nature, there are differences in the manner of eating and performing sacrifices, austerities, and charities. They are not all conducted on the same level. Those who can understand analytically what kind of performance are in what modes of material nature are actually wise. Those who consider all kinds of sacrifice of food or charity to be the same cannot discriminate, and they are foolish. They are missionary workers who advocate that one can do whatever he likes and attain perfection. But these foolish guides are not acting according to the directions of the scripture. They are manufacturing ways and misleading the people in general. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. So this food is something which is a very essential part of our life and the life of any living being. So Krishna mentions that once if someone feels that whatever he likes, it is all same, right? If someone says that one who does this analytically, okay, knowing well, right, what kind of performances are in what modes of material nature, that person is wise. Okay, those who consider all kinds of sacrifice or food or charity to be the same, they cannot discriminate. So what is the essential part of goodness is we have the vivek, discrimination power. So it is very clear also, right, that when we can see the things as they are, then we can behave according to that, the right way that we should be doing. Okay, but if what is mode of passion? It is called in Hindi rajogun. Raj means dust. If the dust goes in our eyes, right, we cannot see the things as they are. Okay, and in mode of ignorance, we are completely blind. There is no question of, there is no hope. Okay, so the takeaway that we should take from here is, when we have eyes, then we can see the things in a correct way. Then if in a room which is full of darkness, there is always a fear. Even if some rope is there, we might feel it is a snake. And if the snake is not there, we always feel snake might be there because we are not able to see anything. That is the situation of a person in mode of passion and ignorance. And when we turn on the lights, right, we will clearly know it was just a rope to come out of the problem, but we were thinking it might be a snake, and I was not using it. So that is the effect of the Maya. Maya means something what is not. So in the darkness, we do not get, very important line, please, this one, Prabhuji and Mataji, in the, out of the influence of Maya, we start thinking those things which are real risk for us, we start counting them as favorable. And those things which are really meant to help us, we are scared of that. Scared of, we can do double the efforts, more and more hard work for those things which are dangerous. But a very little austerity, okay, very little tapasya for the Lord, we feel no, it is not possible for us. As another example, we all would have seen children or even adults, they put some two strong wood sticks on two sides, and on the top they connect that with rope. And we all would have seen they walk on that rope, bare feet, sometime carrying another bamboo or some other object. So to feed the stomach, okay, to feed the stomach, we are ready to do the austerity of that level. Once fall down means maybe it is end of life, or maybe some part of the body. But if we tell to those people that you sit and chant, and Krishna is anyway taking care of even a small ant and an elephant also, why will he not take care? That becomes difficult. We have no right to comment on somebody else until we are very firm. But at least we can be vigilant. We can see the things around us and learn from them. with Krishna mercy, all of us in this Zoom room, right? Zoom meeting, we do not have to do that much kind of hard work as if like walking on the rope bare feet. We have got some arrangements. Okay. We have also seen the time always changes. Change is the only constant part in this world. And why this change comes, as we discussed in the beginning of this session, so that we start feeling ourselves insignificant, that we cannot control the things. So this was the description of those who can understand analytically what kind of performances are there in the modes, in what modes. So we should know, okay, our actions, the objects, the food, the sacrifices that we perform are going to take us in what direction. The journey begins from knowing. The probability of doing the things rightly after we know is very high. By like accidentally or as a coincidence, if we just do something right without knowing, it is a great thing. Krishna mercy, anything can happen. Okay, but if we do not understand the importance of that, next time if we are in the same situation, we may not be able to do it right. So the sword of the knowledge is very, very important to cut the ignorance rope. And that is the quality of a person in goodness, the discrimination power. We would have seen people around us saying, you do whatever you like. That is as good as if I am in a hospital and if I'm feeling slightly better. No, I feel, no, I'm good. I have a lot of determination. No, now I'm recovering. I will be out from the hospital very soon. But the determination and that feeling good is not sufficient. If that person eats something which is very very much against his health at that point in time, it may deteriorate his health immediately and make it worsen. Right? Doctor prescribes us do's and don'ts. So we must know. We do it everywhere. But when it comes to the spiritual things, we feel, no, there should not be any rules and regulations. I should be doing it the way I like. Initially, we have to do the hand holding of the scripture. And why initially? Because once we practice it, we will absorb the mood, we will learn the things, and then our natural in an unconscious mind also we will not go against. Okay, so the guidance and supervision of Vedas is very, very important. Okay, until we become so much of familiar, so much of used to that, right? That we cannot do the things wrongly. Like a true father, as we were discussing, Krishna is telling to Arjuna and actually to us, after explaining those three modes of nature, he's spending more time explaining, you do this. If you do this, you will elevate further. And if a father tells, if we send our children somewhere on a holiday or for study or for any other assignment, we tell them, please do this. And because we are so much concerned about them, we tell them also that don't do this. Because Krishna knows when we are in this material world, there will be different waves of different association, thoughts, objects, advertisements, which will attract us. So like a true father, once again, he's helping us to be careful. Okay. So next. So here we are going to discuss these examples. What are goods? What are the things which are in mode of goodness, and passion, and then ignorance. Ayuh sattva bala rogya sukha priti vivardhana rasyaha snigdha sthira hridaya ahara satvika priyaha. Yes, let me see. Yes, Padma Mataji. There is no purport, but you can read the translation for this.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify our existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
So we discuss what are the food which are in the mode of goodness. So in Bhagavad Gita 9.26, right? I guess we discussed about Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. What are the things that Krishna accepts? And there is no description of any non-veg there, right? So the thing is, we do not settle at just being vegetarian, because, well, at one time, on one side, it is better than being non-vegetarian. But what is our purpose? What is our consciousness? It is next line that we are going to discuss. It's something which can take our whole life. Something which we are already aware. Okay. But time to go deep into that. So we all know the 4 regulatory principles. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling. Now, no meat eating means we should not kill an animal, torture him, kill him, and eat. No, we should not do that. We all know this thing, okay? And we are not eating non-veg. Now, the definition of why we should not do meat eating, because we should be non-violent, and then our body is what we eat. If we kill an animal, our consciousness will become that much angry and, right, always either we will be very aggressive, or it will something not be normal, because we will become how the animal was when he was dying, and he will not be happy. So we cannot be happy. Okay, so the definition of non-violence does not stop here. In Ishopanishad, there is a shloka, right? It is called mantra. So there, I cannot recall exactly, but one of the word was Atmaha, killer of the soul. So in fact, in Bhakti Vriksha also, week 1, right, passage 1, first line has this line like spiritual death. So when we are not doing something favorable to the soul, then we are actually violent, because until we do not have the knowledge that we have a soul inside us, and the reason why we are still hankering even after we become the richest person of the world, then also that is because we are not satisfying our soul. It is exactly like if somebody has exam of maths, okay, mathematics in school, and then he's learning some different subject, say physics, assuming it also has numericals, question and answer. So the person wrongly thinks physics is also like maths, because like maths, we get the numerical questions, formulas are there, we have to solve it. So we are doing that mistake. And when the next day, when the exam comes, we will know immediately that we have done something wrong. We have prepared very nicely, but not for the purpose that was supposed to be. So it is being vegetarian is not enough. Okay. It is very hard example, but very important. Like we discussed, that just being vegetarian is not sufficient, because we are, in a way, we are killing our soul. So we are still being violent. A very strong example that Srila Prabhupada had exhibited around this is that once he found one of the disciples sitting on a chair. When he was healthy, there was no like health problem and services were there, and right, he was just sitting on a chair, आराम से पीछे की तरफ ऐसे, मतलब putting his back behind. Srila Prabhupada says, you are doing illicit sex. Because we are trying to satisfy, okay, our senses, taking shelter of Maya. When it is time of doing the service, and when you are healthy and everything is, whole situation is appropriate, why are you just sitting on the chair and not serving? Again, we should not take the things without completely understanding the context. What relation, what mood, what things Srila Prabhupada wanted to correct with that disciple, that is personal to Srila Prabhupada and the disciple. The only reason why we are discussing here that example is not to discourage us on sitting on the chair, but the thing is, the message that we want to discuss and communicate here is, we are here to serve Krishna. Okay, and if we are doing anything which is not in direction of serving Krishna, then there is no other third stage. If we are not serving Krishna, we are serving Maya. We have discussed this example of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj saying, our life is like a switch, on or off. On one side it is Krishna, other side it is Maya. So we should be that much careful. Okay, we have to be Krishnatarian. We need to honor the prasadam of Krishna. Otherwise, we are eating the sins. Proof, Bhagavad Gita 3.13. Food offered, I mean, if we directly consume that without offering to the Krishna, we are eating our sins. And why not? When we eat jhutha and remnants of someone, it clearly means we are accepting ourselves in the lower position. Right? So when we honor the prasadam, means we know Krishna, you have like accepted the bhoga. Okay, it has become your jhutha, and then we are going to. So in this regard, one very funny example that His Grace Sarvabhauma Prabhu, who is known for his excellent different styles of preaching, he had given this example that once some devotees, they were making prasadam, I don't know whether it was laddu or some recipe they were making. Okay, and then and it was very famous. Everybody used to love that in the surrounding. And then the shopkeepers, biggest shopkeepers in that area, sweet shopkeepers. So they got to know about this thing. So they played some trick and they got exactly the same recipe. Okay, what the devotees were using. Still the taste was not that. nowhere close to what it was in the temple. Then they approached the temple and then they asked, we are using exactly the same way. And then the devotees told, because it has not been offered to the Lord. Okay, so when we eat, right, chuta of someone, right, the taste of the qualities of that person also comes into that. So because that is missing in your case, that's why the taste is not same. So whereas on the other side, if we eat the things which are not offered to the Lord, then for a moment, for a very small amount of time, it may be very tasteful to the tongue, but then in no time, okay, the actual cost has to be paid by rest of the body, the mind, and ultimately the soul. So once again, it is a deep topic to meditate. We have hundreds and thousands of parts in the body, many of which we know, many of which we have never heard until there is a medical problem, and then doctor tells those difficult words, and then we get to know, okay, this is also something. So out of these hundreds and thousands of parts in the body, for one part, which is tongue, we are putting everybody else into the risk, the whole body, all other parts. This is at the gross level only. We don't have to go at the minute, subtle level. Of course, when we eat that food not offered to the Lord, then we become unfocused. How can we focus on the chanting, on the spiritual things, and forget about the soul? So we have to decide what is intelligent thing. Just the tongue. And why should we just settle on something which is temporarily releasable to the tongue? When we chant the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Srila Rupa Goswami says that just one tongue is not sufficient. That name Krishna had so much of nectar. I need many hundreds and hundreds of tongues, and then just 2 ears are not sufficient. So much of nectar is there, which is proven, right? Which is recommended by our acharyas. So just give me a second, please. So the point is, if so much of nectar is there in the chanting, why to settle for something which is very temporary and is bound to put us into the infinite problems? Krishna never forced us. Krishna told what is good for you, and by doing the things which are not good for you, what are the consequences that you have to do? You have to face. Same principle we have to deal with our mind also. If we force our mind like a child, if we tell you do chanting, it is very practical thing. I heard it very recently from my mentor. If we tell our children you must chant, they may chant out of affection, out of love for us. But what will sustain this thing for a longer time is when we tell them the glories of the Lord, why they should chant. Okay, when they read the stories, okay, different pastimes of the Lord, their faith on chanting will gradually and has to improve. And then we don't have to tell them to chant, because now they know the region and they are convinced. So we must try a Krishna book, right? Prabhupada explains that we must read Krishna book just before sleeping, so that we sleep in that mode. So let us make it as a habit. We don't have to finish that Krishna book. We have to live LIVE. We have to leave that book in our life. There is no question of, now Krishna book is done, what next? So many of things are there. So it's a small information on this, like it is said that when somebody reads Srimad Bhagavatam, they should not read it. They must not jump directly to the 10th canto, which is full of pastimes of the Lord. They should do it canto 1, canto 2, canto 3. Then many times, okay, we would have seen during the Bhagavad Gita marathon, right? That month, Krishna book is also distributed in a good number. We distribute that book even to very new people. And Krishna book is equal to 10th canto. So on one side, we are telling people they must not jump to the 10th canto. On the other side, we are distributing Krishna book. Is it a contradiction? So that was the question recently asked in a forum. So the beautiful answer that the Prabhu gave was, Srila Prabhupada has specifically written this Krishna book with the pastime and the philosophies and the principle being taken care. So if one reads Krishna book, definitely it is not a substitute of reading Bhagavatam. Both are two different nectars. Okay, but someone who is more interested in stories and pastimes, they can read Krishna book and read it nicely. Krishna book has everything for everyone, even for the beginners, even for the advanced devotees. So, okay, we deviated from the topic, but let us come. Shloka number 9. Katva amla lavanati ushna tekshina ruksha vidinaha ahara rajas cheta dukha sokamaya pradaha. Yes, the translation, please. We request Sudha Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Tanda Pranam. Prabhuji, I'm audible.
Yes, Mataji.
Foods that are translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such foods cause distress, misery, and disease. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So it directs us very clearly. Okay, we should avoid these foods, which is too bitter, too sour, salty, very hot, pungent, dry, burning. We can see now with Krishna mercy, we are not, we have crossed at our teenage, right? So it's not like we have to see people and then learn. We can see already, right? People around us who likes this. Okay, and they will be into like mode of passion. Mode of passion means rajogun. Rajogun means they cannot see the things as they are. They want to achieve it now, immediately. Fast food is an answer of that. And such food causes distress, misery, and disease. So they are not good for body, mind, and soul. Even at the gross platform of body, it is not good. As we just discussed, right? Just for a small, very short duration pleasure of the tongue. So it is something which we all are a part of. Okay. In our life also, we do so much of hard work, right? To maintain our life, which ultimately has to end. So the same thing that we were doing for tongue, keeping the body in risk. Similarly, if we go one level higher, we are doing the things for body, keeping our mind and soul into the risk. One more level high, we are doing the things for the pleasure of our mind, keeping the soul at the risk. We would have not discussed these things. We would have never got any clue of these fine, minute things if Srila Prabhupada had not arranged and given us this platform to discuss. We all would have been very much absorbed into our same so-called mundane routine things without knowing the truth. If we know the truth, there are some chances, okay? At least the main thing is, as we always discuss, not to change our things. It is to change our consciousness that we are working with. If we know to sustain this life, we are okay to manage in less. Immediately we will feel great relief, because now we will not see as ourselves as dependent on those comfortable things that we have around us. Because if it is there, good. If it is not there, good. Because now our purpose is not to enjoy those things. Our purpose is to use the things in our surrounding for the service of the Lord. If things are there, we will offer. We may not have chapan bhoga every day in our home to offer, right? We may have 1 or 2 or 3 items. We offer. One day when it is chapan bhoga, we offer. Whatever is there, it is to offer to the Lord. If it is more, yes. If it is less, yes. Center is not we. Why today I have only one item, one vegetable in my lunch or dinner? Why not 2, 3? So, right, it is very, very practical. We don't have to read the shlokas just because we have to read it. We have to read the shloka so that we can live and absorb the message and apply that in our life. That is the purpose. Yata yamam katarasam puti pariyusitam chayat uchist mapi chamethyam bhojanam tamasam priyam. Yes, next. Let me request Sindhu
Very
Mataji.
good. Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhu. Very good. Very good.
Yes, Mataji.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed, and
Good read.
once again, I'm just zooming in. Yeah, putrid and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness. Shall I continue, Prabhuji, purport?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, Mataji.
The purpose of food is to increase the duration of life, purify the mind, and aid bodily strength. This is the only purpose. In the past, great authorities selected those foods that best aid health and increase life's duration, such as milk products, sugar, rice, wheat,
Fruits and vegetables. Sorry, Mataji, I cannot hear you now.
can be
These,
made pleasant when mixed with milk or other foods.
okay.
They are then in the mode of goodness. All these foods are pure by nature. They are quite distinct from untouchable things like meat and liquor. Fatty foods, as mentioned in the 8th verse, have no connection with animal fat obtained by slaughter. Animal fat is available in the form of milk, which is the most wonderful of all the foods. Milk, butter, cheese, and similar products give animal fat in a form which rules out any need for the killing of innocent creatures. It is only through brute mentality that this killing goes on. The civilized method of obtaining needed fat is by milk. Slaughter is the way of subhumans.
Subhumans. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Protein is
Slaughter is the way of, okay, Shubhamans. Protein is amply available through split peas, dal, whole wheat, etc. Put in the mode of passion, which are bitter, too salty, or too hot, or overly mixed with red pepper, cause misery by reducing the mucus in the stomach, leading to disease. Put in the mode of ignorance or darkness are essentially those that are not fresh. Any food cooked more than 3 hours before it is eaten, except prasadam, food offered to the Lord, is considered to be in the mode of darkness. Because they are decomposing, such foods give a bad odor, which often attracts people in this mode but repulses those in the mode of goodness. Remnants of food may be eaten only when they are part of a meal that was first offered to the Supreme Lord or first eaten by saintly persons, especially the spiritual master. Otherwise, the remnants of food are considered to be in the mode of darkness, and they increase infection or disease. Such foodstuffs, although very palatable to persons in the mode of darkness, are neither liked nor even touched if by those in the mode of goodness. The best food is the remnants of what is offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, Supreme Lord says that he accepts preparations of vegetables, flour, and milk when offered with devotion. Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Of course, devotion and love are the chief things which the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts. But it is also mentioned that the prasadam should be prepared in a particular way. Any food prepared by the injunctions of the scripture and offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be taken even if prepared long, long ago, because such food is transcendental. Therefore, to make food antiseptic, eatable, and palatable for all persons, one should offer food to the Supreme Personality of God. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Madhu. So this food and which becomes prasadam after offering to the Lord is the easiest and the most effective way of spreading Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada says, because your mind is dull, right? You cannot understand the philosophy. That's why you eat prasadam. And when you eat it for some time, Krishna will give that intelligence so that we can understand the philosophy and the principles. So we'll go a little faster. Falakanta shibhir yagno vidhi disto ya ijjate yastravya me veti manaha samadhaya sa satvikaha. Yes. Now,
Hare
Kishore
Krishna,
Mataji.
Prabhu.
Yes, ma'am.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, please read.
May I read?
Yes, please, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Of sacrifices, the sacrifice performed according to the directions of scripture as a matter of duty by those who desires no reward is of the nature of goodness. Purport. The general tendency is to offer sacrifice with some purpose in mind. Here it is stated that sacrifice should be performed without any such desire. It should be done as a matter of duty. Take, for example, the performance of rituals in temples or in churches. Generally, they are performed with the purpose of material benefit, but that is not in the mode of goodness. One should go to a temple or church as a matter of duty, offer respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and offer flowers and eatable without any purpose of obtaining material benefit. everyone thinks that there is no use in going to the temple just to worship God, but worship for economic benefit is not recommended in the spiritual injunctions. One should go simply to offer respect to the deity that will place one in the mode of goodness. It is duty of every civilized man to obey the injunctions of the scriptures and offer respect to the supreme personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you. Dhanavad
Thank you,
Pranam.
Manjuji. So as we also read in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, shloka number, I think 6. Savepam samparo dharmo yato bhakti yadokshaje ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. So it should be ahetuki, not for any self-motivation. Apratihata, continuous. Right. So now Krishna is explaining the different types of sacrifices. So this is the one which is in goodness, where we do it as a matter of duty. Why? Because we should do it. And this is very much true for the sadhakas, right? Because it is our duty, so we should do it. Because Srila Prabhupada has said we should do minimum 16 rounds of chanting and 4 regulative principles. So we should do it as a matter of duty. And gradually, okay, Srila Prabhupada again says we should be hankering for why 16 rounds? Why not 16,000? So when that comes, like I want to do the chanting. From have to, we have to rise to the platform of want to. Okay. So, but we must do it for the pleasure of the Lord. Someone may say, very important line again for our main business of chanting, right? Someone may say, today I'm not feeling like chanting. I'm not able to focus. My health is not good. Okay. I don't want to do it. I don't enjoy. We often get these thoughts in our mind. But then the question, this is a thought that we get, but the answer is, who said that the chanting is for our pleasure? It is for the pleasure of the Lord. So if Krishna, Srimati Radharani, if they are getting satisfied, right? If they like it, we will get it once they are satisfied. Okay. Next. Abhisandaya tu phalam dam bharatam api chevayat ijyate bharata sreshtha tam yagnam vidhi rajasam. Now this is in the mode of a passion. Yes. Anyone else wants to read? Swati Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. But
Yes.
the translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. But the sacrifice performed for some material benefit or for the sake of pride, O chief of Bharata, you should know to be in the mode of passion. A purport. Sometimes sacrifices and rituals are performed for elevation to the heavenly kingdom or for some material benefits in this world. Such sacrifice or ritualistic performance are considered to be in the mode of passion. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes. So if our purpose is to go to the heavenly planet, and if with that mood, if we do the sacrifices, then it is in the mode of passion, because we want to enjoy it more. That's why we want to go to heaven. So in heaven, the problem is we will be only doing the sense gratification. And because there are no, again, as we discussed in the beginning, right? If there are no challenges, we feel ourselves very proud. Okay. In that mood of pride, it is very difficult to remember the Lord. Because we see we are also capable. Yes, we know Krishna is more capable, but this is sufficient for me to keep my senses engaged and satisfy them. So we don't feel that dependence. That's why it is more risky to go to the higher planets, because ultimately we have to fall down, and the chances of going up, that is not possible until we surrender to the Lord. Well, it does not mean in heaven everyone is just doing sense gratification. In heaven, demigods are there, and they are much more qualified than us. Okay, but the question is, even like if we take the example of Indra, right? And we remember the pastime of Govardhana and that Shamantaka jewel, right? So we do make mistakes. So the idea is, if we have to do all these things, if we say, if the path is same, okay, means the chanting of the Lord, then it is like giving payasam or kheer, sweet rice, right, to the Lord. If we put some desires into that, Krishna, you please take this, but give me this thing in back. Then putting those desires into the prayers is as good as putting some dust particles in that payasam, which nobody likes, as none of us likes here, right? So if you've done all the efforts of doing the chanting and putting the prayers, why to add the desires without asking if you're getting the back? Krishna knows. Please remember this thing always. Benedictions exceeds expectations. This is the very key formula for chanting. Benedictions exceeds expectations. This is also from His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj. When we chant, okay, we cannot expect what we get. What we get is much, much beyond our expectations. So expectation means what? To have a desire. If we are anyway going to get more than our desires, why to, right? Why to settle in the less? It's not a very intelligent thing. Okay, this is the last shloka for today. Vidhi hinam arastanam mantra hinam adakshinam shraddha virhitam yagyam tamasam parichakshate. Yes. Anyone who has not read so far?
Can I read?
Yes, Puji. Yes.
Yeah. Vidhihinam asprushtannam mantrahinam adikshinim shraddha virahitam yajnam tamasam parichakshate.
Yes, Puji. Please give the translation in the purport.
Yeah. Translation. Any sacrifices performed without regard for the directions of scripture, without distribution of prasadam, spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remunerations to the priests, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. Purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Faith in the mode of darkness or ignorance is actually faithlessness. Sometimes people worship some demigod just to make money and then spend the money for recreation, ignoring the spiritual injections. Such ceremonial shows of religiously are not accepted as genuine. They are all in the mode of darkness. They produce a demonic mentality and do not benefit the human society. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Babu. So again, when we are doing the things, let us see this body is a bridge. Okay, we have to use this bridge to cover our journey from this world to Krishna's world, Goloka Vrindavan. So if we are going to cover the journey on the bridge, why to find a path which again takes us back to the bridge, right? I'm able to explain this thing. Like, we have to use the bridge and go to the Lord. So this is a medium, right, through which we can serve the Lord. Why do we want to diverge? Okay, by adding our more desires, and see, we cannot be more fortunate than this. We have the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, holy name, scriptures, association. Okay, association is the foundation, because anything anywhere is missing. Okay, association helps us to fill all those missing gaps. When we have got all these things, right? Let us have our right desire. It is not much left, Prabhuji and Mataji, right? We are not going to be here for eternally. Like, it is a blessing, right? Had we been Satyuga, we would have to live for thousands and thousands of years. Life is very short. We all remember that shloka, Antakale Mamayava, right? In our last moment, if we remember the Lord, we go back to Him. There is no doubt. 8.5. Now, it is our Antakale only. Because the life is too short. On a big scale of Brahma's life, it is not even this, right? Because Brahma's life is so long. Even forget about Brahma, right? Even in our own humanly platform, nowadays it is not that that old. So let us use these remaining years. Okay. Please read Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 15th chapter, 39 verse, as a homework. So there it is mentioned, everyone must spend his last 15 to 20 years dedicatedly for Krishna. Okay, so that we don't, our consciousness is fully absorbed into that.
With the numbers, Prabhuji?
Yes,
Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yes. 1.15.
Which
I'm putting it in the chat, Mataji.
115?
39.
115, 29?
39, Mataji. I just kept it on the chat. Like, let's see.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. About the second canto, sloka number 6, Ahituki. Can you give me that that reference also, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
Text, I don't know the text.
126.
Sorry?
Yes, I just typed it on the chat, Mataji, this one also. 1.26.
Yeah, okay, Prabhuji, because my... Okay.
Mataji, is it clear or shall I repeat? I mean,
No, 126.
126, yes. Ahituki Abhiyata. That's right.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
All right. So with this, I take your permission. If somebody has any one or two comments or questions, we can discuss. Otherwise, I'm sorry, we started late, so that's why we had to take a little more time. So, Vancha Kalpatarubhayascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Yeah, if I said something which I should not have said, and as you did not like, kindly forgive me for that. It's only and only because of my incapabilities to present.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Prabhuji, with your permission, I'm just ending this meeting. Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, yes.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji, धन्यवाद.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.